Disney, in its quest for relevance, has finally managed to create a film that offends absolutely everyone.
It's a human.
What did you think I was?
I sense Karen vibes all around that sequence. Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest bear of them all? Welcome to the show. Today we're diving deep into the cinematic wreckage of Disney's Snow White. We're not just reviewing, we are performing an autopsy on something in the Hollywood kingdom. This film was doomed way before anyone even saw it. A year before its planned release, the internet exploded. Forget metal criticism. This was a full-blown hate campaign, and mainly directed at Rachel Zegler, who became a target for internet trolls. Firstly, there were the usual cries of wokeness and accusations of Disney pandering to the liberal agenda. Then came the inevitable comparisons to the original animated classic, with some claiming that Zegler was not beautiful enough to play Snow White, because apparently fairy tales have strict beauty standards enforced by the internet. Others, fueled by bigotry, complained that she was Latina and therefore unsuitable to play Snow White. To top it all off, Zegler's previous remarks claiming the original Snow White film was outdated and in need of a modern update added fuel to the fire.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
And of course, the specter of her Donald Trump comments on Instagram was always in the background. So, was the criticism of the film itself legitimate? Let's analyze. Disney's Snow White is a live-action, vaguely musical, loosely political reimagining of a classic fairy tale. Snow White, fleeing the evil queen, who naturally is obsessed with the affairs, finds refuge in seven magical creatures. These magical beings help her lead a revolution against the evil queen and stop the terror on the kingdom. It attempts to combine themes of social justice, economic inequality, and it's a mishmash of half-baked ideas. Look, I'm not going to pretend that Zegler's performance is some kind of Oscar-worthy tour de force. The script simply doesn't give her the material to truly shine. However, I would say this, she gives it her all. She attempts to inject some genuine emotion and sincerity into a character that's been sanded down to a collection of platitudes and Disney-approved messaging. Zegler didn't just materialize out of thin air. She actually had a pretty impressive start in the entertainment world. Before this whole Snow White fiasco, she was known for YouTube covers.
All those years outside looking in.
Yes, our would-be princess started out belting out Broadway tunes in her bathroom, amassing a decent following online. But the YouTube fame wasn't just a hobby, it was a launching pad.
I love you so much. Bye!
In 2019, she was plucked from obscurity by none other than Steven Spielberg to star as Maria in his remake of West Side Story.
I'm not Puerto Rican.
Talk about a career jump. The performance won her a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a motion picture musical or comedy, making her the first actress of Colombian descent to win the award. The truth is, Zegler was handed a poisoned apple, and she did her best to make it taste, well, barely less toxic. Gadot, aka Wonder Woman, as the evil queen, can't overcome a script that reduces her to a one-dimensional caricature. She's basically Cruella de Vil, with a slightly less fashionable wardrobe. Gadot does try to inject a bit of camp and swagger into the role, clearly relishing the opportunity to be the baddie for once. You get the sense she's capable of so much more than what's on display here. The art design is bland and forgettable. The sets look cheap and artificial. He makes a trip to IKEA look like a psychedelic acid trip. The music is exactly what you'd expect. Grand, catchy, and steeped in the classic Disney style. The songs are vibrant and help carry the story. They effectively deliver the emotional beats and charm that Disney is known for. The script is like it has been written by a committee of AI bots, tasked with ticking every diversity box while simultaneously appealing to nobody. The jokes fall flatter than a pancake. See, for example, her love interest introducing himself. My name is Jonathan, Princess. Not Jonathan, Princess, just Jonathan, Princess. And the attempts at social commentary are about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face. For example, when Doc says these regarding the bandits, they are actually reservoir actors whose sustenance was made unstable by the Queen's greedy economic policies, which forced them into a living room space where ethics and motives are ill-defined. But how does this film compare with previous versions? Snow White and the Huntsman managed to make darkness a visually appealing aspect of the film. A good art direction is always needed, and this film understood that. Mirror, Mirror leaned into its own absurdity, delivering a playful and humorous twist on the classic story. It also made the smart move of casting Julia Roberts, who fully committed to the over-the-top villain role. A kind of fun, self-aware performance the new film desperately needs.
They're not wrinkles, they're just crinkles.
Snow White, A Tale of Terror. This is how you do it if you want to make an impact. Bold choices, unforgettable moments, a fresh spin that makes audiences take notice. The message is clear. If you're going to retell a story, bring something new, something bold, something memorable. But let's not forget Disney's Snow White 2025 simply wouldn't exist without the animated masterpiece from 1937, of which it's nothing but a remix. And apart from the obvious aesthetic differences, it's endearing to see how Snow White cleans the house and cooks dinner for the owners in the hope they will let her hide in their home, while their supposedly empowered 2025 princess simply goes to bed completely wet and throws a tantrum when she's mistaken for a bandit.
It's a human.
What did you think I was?
I sense Karen vibes all around that sequence. She's also a much more naive Snow White, accepting the old woman's apple with barely any persuasion, while in the animated version, she needs a lot more convincing. Ironically, she comes across as more streetwise despite her fairy tale innocence. Disney's Snow White was directed by Mark Webb, the guy who gave us 500 Days of Summer, a quirky indie flick about heartbreak that made Zooey Deschanel a household name for a while. Then inexplicably found himself at the helm of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which were divisive to say the least. So what happened? Let's be honest, folks, the director isn't the problem here. You could have given this project to Orson Welles and still would have ended up as a steaming pile of, well, you get the picture. Did Disney's Snow White deserve the hate? Well, based on the muddled movie we got, yes, it deserves some of it, but the sheer volume and intensity of the hate campaign far exceeded the film's actual failings. The film became a sacrificial lamb in a larger cultural war. The true target was something far bigger: diversity, progress, and the very notion that fairy tales can evolve. The film gets a solid 6 out of 10, which in a world of soulless reboots feels like a 5-star feast in a dumpster fire. All right, you doom-scrolling addicts. The deed is done. I stared into the abyss of Disney's Snow White, so you don't have to. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily doses of cynical negativity.